trusting other people. Why trusting other people feels like a trap. All right, here we go.
And so if you're ending up with the wrong crowd, if you continually get betrayed and exploited, you need to be more careful about who you choose to spend your time with.
For the record, I did not watch. I did not. Well, I think I might have watched a little bit of the first part. But
how do I find the right people? It's not the right question. The question is, what are the signals within you that induce you to gravitate towards these wrong people? So if you have narcissistic parents, you've been shaped to be a people pleaser.
Hello, Dr. K.
Yeah. There's like, I don't want to victim blame, but I do feel like there are scenarios in which certain types of people make poor bedfellows. Like they just don't jive. If there's a person who's really assertive and a person who's really kind of spineless, a person who's really assertive might do well with another person who's really assertive. But like when you have a type of unilateral relationship, I think it's best not to allow yourselves those in general, just because like it doesn't. It feels like it, like inevitably we're human. We have human nature. We're not perfect, and you will tend to either inadvertently or willfully exploit those unilateral connections you have.
Okay, so I've grown up in a narcissistic family system for about 2 decades, and even after I escaped, I ended up in the wrong crowd a couple times, had a couple bad relationships, and I've been betrayed a lot because more than anything, I really wanted to trust someone.
For the record, I'm not saying he's wrong, but sometimes you take your problems with you. So, like, when you see people who move around a lot and they somehow always end up in the same situations, and it's like, okay, is the people around you really the problem? Are the people around you really the problem?
Without having my guard up.
Seems a bit supercilious. Ah, you have no idea how hard it was to work that. No, I looked it up this morning, so I wanted to use it. Supercilious. I think it's arrogant. Kind of that's the idea. But I think in particular it has to do with showing disdain for others. It's not just being prideful. It's a haughty type of disdain for others.
And I still want that on some level. But because of that.
Okay, here's one that irks me to no end. Superficial and superfluous. I remember superfluous, I think, from one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and like whenever I'm thinking of that word, I can never remember the word superficial, which I think I would tend to want to use maybe superficial more. Ugh, it's irksome to no end.
That I've trusted people too easily and I've gotten backstabbed and exploited way too much. And it's gotten to the point now where I can't even trust kindness.
See, I don't know how much like being trusted means you will get hurt. People will let you down, and I think to some extent it's a question of where you look as to what extent they'll let you down. But it's always a risk reward type of thing. Like, do you keep trusting people? Do you close yourself off? I think the effects or the life you will lead if you choose not to trust, to never take risks, is it's not going to be rewarding enough to merit that I don't want to be hurt. And I don't think isolating yourself tends to make very stable personalities. It makes it feel stable, makes it so you don't end up with a lot of accidents occurring, but it doesn't make you stable. Life is a lot more, well, at the risk of sounding like super, like I know what I'm talking about, it feels like life is a lot more ad lib than most people like to think, and you need to get used to improvising more. That's where the people who know what they're doing, that's why they know what they're doing. It's not because they actually know what's going to happen. It's just because they got good not know what's going to happen.
Yes. Like I see the potential for abuse in it. Like even if someone gives me emotional support during a difficult time, how do I know they're not trying to figure out what my weaknesses are so they can exploit me later? And even if they reassure me that they're not being abusive or anything, I mean, they could be lying to me, or maybe they're not self-aware of their abusive patterns. Like the paranoia runs deep right now. And the best answer I've been able to give myself is that deep down, everyone has the potential.
So this is the thing. I feel like a lot of people fall into this trap, and I don't know if it's just a thing of the times we're living in. But it feels like a lot of people think the notion of skepticism is somehow inviolate. That skepticism or doubt or stuff like that, it can never be taken to too great an extent. It is the divine compass which leads to all truth, and you could never lose something by being too skeptical. Like moderation in all things, including moderation. I think yeah, he actually said that, but also you could argue skepticism in all things, including skepticism.
To be a little bit manipulative or a little bit abusive, and I just have to find people where their good outweighs their abusive tendencies.
So, again, I think this is also a situation where you just have to learn to be kind of more of a hard target with people as well. The fact is that I think sometimes everyone has like if everyone you meet is just being really assertive with you, it might be because you're kind of a pushover and you need to learn to not be a pushover. Like I think stuff like that can actually happen. And some people are unreasonably assertive. I think everyone's a little bit assertive. So if you are a pushover, everyone else that is, will come off as being abusive towards you or manipulative. And they might not be trying to.
But I don't know if that's the best answer, so I'm wondering what you think.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
What a wonderful question. So I'm going to say a couple of things that I think are really, I hope they're helpful, but they're going to sound harsh. They're not harsh, I hope. So this is a really common problem because, so here's what happened. Like 10,000 years ago, there was like some narcissistic human being, and then they had children, and they raised their children in a narcissistic environment. And what we know about children who grow up with narcissistic parents is that they will adopt, be socialized or conditioned to some narcissistic traits. And then 10,000 years ago, this happened, and then they raised a little narcissist, and then that little narcissist grew up.
You wonder to what extent stuff like that is, well, I guess assertiveness isn't necessarily narcissism, or there might be some daylight between those two concepts, but I don't know. Wonder to what extent it's like genetic, to what extent it's trained into people or trained out of people.
And then they had a child, and then they raised a little narcissist, and it went on to the ages. And so
it's true though that it feels like there are some traits that would almost would breed themselves into extinction. Narcissism might not be one of those. It would maybe not be one of those.
What we tend to see is that if you have like narcissistic parents, or what we know is that narcissism is somewhat transmissible from parent to child. And when I say transmissible, there may be a component that's genetic, but a lot of it is the way that you are taught to relate to other human beings. Hey, y'all, if you're interested in applying some of the principles that we share to actually create change in your life, check out Dr. K's Guide to Mental Health. And so we start by...
And you're going to listen to this, and you're going to enjoy it. No. I feel like if I'm stealing the guy's thing, I have to go through at least one of their ads.
Understanding what literally is
trauma module. I'm sorry, it's ADHD module, meditation module, anxiety module, depression module.
Meditation. How does experience shape us as human beings? How do we strengthen the mind itself as an organ? And so by understanding our mind, we understand a very simple tool, a crucial tool that we have to learn how to use if we want to build the life that we want to. So check out the link in the bio and start your journey today. So one of the biggest challenges, if you are someone who grew up with narcissistic parents, is that you will have narcissistic ways of thinking. Now, that doesn't mean that you're a narcissist and it's not your fault. It's like literally you are taught a certain mode of interacting with other people. And until you realize that that mode may have been internalized, you will continue to run into these problems. And so this person is saying, okay, I came up with a solution, which is like maybe everyone has the capacity to manipulate. Everyone has the capacity to...
I think that is true. Probably certainly some people to greater degrees than others, but I think everyone has the fact that not everyone has the power to do this thing doesn't mean that they don't want to or wouldn't if they did have the power. Like I think everyone has that potential, maybe innate a little bit.
To be kind and I just have to look for the right people. Okay, so I want to show this to y'all. We're going to listen to this voicemail again. I'm not saying you're a raging narcissist, bro.
Again, it seems like this type of thinking come off as like a grass is greener type of idea. And yeah, it feels like that logic rarely works.
But there are certain patterns of narcissistic thinking, okay? So we're going to listen to this voicemail again, and I'm going to jot down some phrases, okay? And then we'll see.
Hello, Dr. K. So I've grown up in a narcissistic family system for about 2 decades. And even after I escaped, I ended up in the wrong crowd a couple times, had a couple bad relationships, and I've been betrayed a lot because more than anything, even after I escaped, I ended up in the wrong crowd a couple times, had a couple bad relationships, and I've been betrayed a lot because more than anything, I really wanted to trust someone without having my guard up. And I still want that on some level.
My work is easy because I use ClickUp. Here's how I keep track of all my tasks. I start by brain dumping everything I need to get done.
Sorry, I was kind of distracted by this thing right here. Is every narcissist unaware that they are a narcissist? And it's kind of an interesting notion that, like, it feels like a perception perceiving itself. It's a kind of a bizarre notion, and it seems almost contradictory to some extent. You could obviously have scenarios where your brain is the thing that's doing the perceiving, and there's some problem with your brain. So I don't know if that could exist, but I feel like generally speaking, I had mentioned this before in one of my videos. It's really hard to just self-metamorphosize self-awareness or awareness of a thing. It feels like quite often you depend upon the people around you to tell you what you are or the situations you go through in life. So maybe why travel is a really good idea quite often, because it puts you in situations where you learn more about yourself and you become more self-aware. But I think it's quite often externals that provide you that sort of enlightenment. So I guess I don't know if narcissists know they're narcissists. Probably some of them do. Probably some of them do.
Because of that, I've trusted people too easily, and I've gotten backstabbed and exploited way too much. And it's gotten to the point now where
Betrayed a lot.
I can't even trust kindness. Like, I see the potential for abuse in it. Like, even if someone gives me emotional support during a difficult time, how do I know they're not
Trusted, exploited. Is that what that is? Exploited? I don't know. Sorry.
not trying to figure out what my weaknesses are so they can exploit me later? And even if they reassure me that they're not being abusive.
Wulexin narcissism is different than NPD. I don't know if I agree with this. It doesn't feel like they would be highly aware of it. They would be any more likely than anyone else to be aware that they're narcissists. Well, I guess I don't know. I don't know. Scratch that. Nix that last.
Or anything. I mean, they could be lying to me, or maybe they're not self-aware of their abusive patterns. Like, the paranoia runs deep right now. And the best answer I've been able to give myself is that deep down, everyone has the potential to be a little bit manipulative or a little bit abusive. And I just have to find people where their good outweighs their abusive tendencies. But I don't know if that's the best answer. So I'm wondering what you think.
So I think this is
Sorry to interrupt. It does feel like also there can be scenarios wherein, like, if you feel like you're a part of a group, like you actually have input into the scenario, um, you view that group as a part of who you are. And so, like, when they say something, it's not manipulative. It's them trying to have input, a well-meaning input into your life, so you can respond correctly to that. There's this type of dynamic where it's like leadership is it's something where you're in consort with the person involved, but domination is extrinsic. So I think there's, like, perspective has something to do with it too. If you view yourself as being a part of this and pulling along with everyone else, then the way other people behave towards you is more acceptable, even if they do want to have input into your life. But if you believe yourself as being kind of isolated, even within that grouping, lacking connection with the group, you'll view everyone else's behavior as being controlling or whatever.
Is a great example. So first of all, like props to this person because the first step to overcoming this narcissistic conditioning, which is kind of what I would call it, is to like question and reflect. That is the main thing that narcissists don't do. So when I talk about narcissistic conditioning, what do I is the main thing, which is kind of this person because the first step to overcoming this narcissistic conditioning, which is kind of what I would call it, is to like question and reflect. That is the main thing that narcissists don't do. So when I talk about narcissistic conditioning, what do I mean? So let's understand a little bit about narcissism, and then we'll go back to the list, okay? So when a narcissist goes through life and they feel hurt, the instrument of agency for me being hurt is something outside of me, right? So like the reason I'm hurt is because of what people do to me.
External locus of control, internal locus of control. For the record, people with internal locus of control, it's a fancy way. He's going to explain it, but I think it's just a fancy way of saying that I'm in control of my life, and I kind of take responsibility for my own life. That where I am is because of who I am, right? Versus people who think that where they are is a result of external factors acting upon them. People who generally think that my life is my responsibility. I'm responsible for where I am in life. They do better in life, I think, measurably so.
They betray me. They exploit me. I end up with the wrong crowd, right? So I want y'all to think about the responsibility, and not in a negative way. Responsibility is not the right word. It has a bad connotation to it. I want you to think about the agency. Oh, I ended up. Well, whose fault is that? Not mine. I didn't make a mistake.
Sorry, dogs going off.
I ended up here. I got betrayed. I got exploited. I want to trust so bad. I just want kindness. I want I want people to like me. I want to be free. And it's great. Like you want all those things, like those are wonderful things to want, really human things to want. But I want y'all to pay attention to the language. Things are happening to this person. That's the key thing about narcissism. It's not I am doing it. I'm not responsible for it. Things are happening to me. If I get hurt or something bad happens in my life, other people are the ones responsible. And so this makes sense, right? So what is this person looking for? This person...
I'm not trying to make fun. He is actually saying... what he's saying makes a lot of sense.
I jotted this down.
Technically, I was trying to make fun.
Monday.com's AI blocks are a total game changer.
Excuse me if I find that hard to believe.
You know that llamas are biological.
This person wants to find the right people, right? Because if I can find the right person...
Completely unrelated. What do you guys... I was thinking about llamas, and that kind of started something. What do you guys think about alligators? Are they dinosaurs, or just kind of some silly reptile that didn't come along? I think they're... I don't know. I would tend to think more in the realm of dinosaurs. They're like a living dinosaur, okay?
If the fundamental unit of agency, if what determines my life is the people outside me, these people are betraying me, these people are exploiting me. So if I look, I will find some people who love me, and then I'll be okay.
And that's, again, the grass is greener type of mentality. I can, if I find the right place, then I'll be okay. If I find the right people, then I'll be okay. I don't think that generally works. Again, life is more about ad-libbing. It's more about making do where you are. It seems to be. From the depths of my experience.
This is never going to work. And the problem is that it fits within the narcissistic frame, which is that my life is going to be determined. My happiness, everything that happens to me is determined by the people around me. You wore that dress to make me feel fat. You got...
That's hilarious.
A new car to...
Someone should clip that. It's
make me feel like I'm a failure. You are making me feel this way. You're betraying me. You're exploiting me. You're doing it to me. I want you to love me. And love comes from you too. And this is what's so hard about it. It's not this person's fault. This is like literally the conditioning that I've seen time and time and time again. Because what this person... I want you...
All right, I think we're going to be done with this. But like, there is... Let me pontificate for a second here. It does feel like these days, in particular, there is a sect of humanity that is utterly determined to teach humanity of its own impotence, to teach humanity to be a victim and to be as weak and as impotent to like leech the strength from it. It's a terrible thing. Like no, like even if it's true, like the best way to make someone actually weak is to make them think they're weak, right? You might be surprised what you can do if you get out of that mindset. I think quite often, if you just try something or take a risk or something like that, I think you'll most of the time find it quite worth it, or at least the life that you will live will be worth it compared to some indolent, risk averse type of thing. Anyways, that's Dr. K. Why trusting other people feels like a trap. Go check that out if you like.